about young people, and joining us is Collen Malatji, who is the ANC Youth League President. Thank you so much for your time and for joining us today.
Thank you for the invite.
So we heard young Caitlin there, who is a politics student at Wits University, saying that she's hesitantly optimistic about the dialogue. Her being there obviously speaks about some of the interventions that young people are now taking as a step in being a part of such conversations. Young people in South Africa have often been dubbed as those that have a lack in participating. We saw at the polls last year, many of them did not turn out. What do you think needs to be done differently to get young people to be more active in such dialogues?
Look, in our statement, I think the first statement, we were one of the first organizations to welcome the national dialogue when the idea came upon. When the Thabo Mbeki Foundation raised it, and later on the president affirmed it and released a date on when these things must happen. But what we were saying in our statement, if you went through our statement, we're clear that this national dialogue must not just be a talk show to defocus us from the main problem. This national dialogue must be a dialogue that speaks about the restructuring of the economy. The biggest problem we're faced with in this country is high level of inequalities, is the disposition of majority which are black and women and youth out of their economic activities. Now, when we'll be lobbying everywhere else, that we'll be lobbying for everyone not to be defocused on things that don't matter much. We must resolve the root of the problem. The generations in CODESA said and fought for political power. Our generation must define our struggle as for economic freedom now, not later.
I mean, the president mentioned that it's not partisan focused, but really should be a dialogue that speaks across the nation, across ideologies. How do you think, as the youth league of the ANC, with young people that have varying views across social views as well as their varying political views, how are you going to bring these ideas together as one for the best interests of young people and not particularly those that support certain parties?
Look, as an organization, we don't only represent people who are aligned to the ANC and ANC Youth League. We represent all youth interest. But it would be irresponsible to say political parties and the youth in political parties must not have influence in the process, because they've got constituencies that they support and fight for. We must bring together. Our job as the Youth League is to unite all organizations. That's why we've started a process of engaging youth from different political parties, whether it's the DA, the EFF, and everyone else, to bring them together. What must unite us is to address the injustices of the past. Our people are still in squatter camps. Our people are not participating in the economy. Youth unemployment is high. Export quotas are not yet introduced. Our raw material resources are leaving the country as raw as they are to go and revive other industries elsewhere. We must industrialize the economy to benefit majority. What causes conflict, whether it's racial conflict, whether it's a gender conflict in other areas, is the issue of the disposition of our people from their own economies. Now, it divides people. Now, if you want to unite people, open the economy for them to participate in. They've exhausted the political power. 31 years later, they're saying that we still don't have land. The land is still in the hands of the minorities in this country. The wealth of the country is not shared amongst these people. Now, when we say the people shall govern, we don't only mean that they must govern as being in parliament only. We mean they must be in control of their own economic activities of the country. Now, our mobilization all over the country, when it goes to wars, because we have the Youth League in every ward in this country. We declare ourselves as the biggest organization in the country of young people, because everywhere else you go, even the deep rural areas, you'll find a branch of the Youth League. We're going to mobilize everyone there, that when they go to these national dialogues, they must not be defocused about other things that right-wingers want us to focus on. Right-wingers want us to focus only on political parties and government only. They want us to forget the most important thing, that is the economy that is in the hands of the few.
You speak about right-wingers, and you've also mentioned how the national dialogue has been hijacked by right-wing elements. Just unpack that for us in terms of what your sentiments are around that.
We've made a call that the national dialogue must not be allowed to be hijacked by right-wingers. Because where we're seated, we've got a strong feeling that on the agenda now, the economic structure of the country is not number one. If it was according to the Youth League, every commission in that conversation must be the economy, the economy, the economy, the economy, and that we know it will build a nation of this country. Everyone else will be united. If you can go to whether it's colored areas, whether it's black areas, the biggest complaint is them not active in their own economy. And the past has always divided our people according to the wealth. They've always make sure that those that they feel are not important are pushed on the outskirts of the country where they can be economic active. Those that they need to use for economy, they put them in squatter camps so they can utilize them in factories and mines for cheap labor. Now, the battle in this country has always been about the economy. And the objective was that we need to utilize the political power that were given by our people through the Freedom Charter and all the documents that were given to us to take our people out of poverty and place them as full activists in their own economy. Now, the fight is about that. The biggest fight in South Africa is right-wingers who are saying that there was never apartheid in this country, there is no need for affirmative action, there is no need for BE, all was well, blacks were always the same, they were never dispositioned. We are saying that it's a language that we must revive and say that it's not true. A child of Rupert is not the same as a child of Malatji. The child of Rupert is born into an active economic family. This one must still first go to school. If they are lucky, they qualify for NEFSA, they get NEFSAs. Then afterwards, they become unemployed because the economy is locked in the hands of the few. Now, we're saying that the dialogue must be about that. It must be for radical change. It must not only be about small issues that don't really matter. It must not be just a talk show. It must be about changing the lives of our people.
Would you argue with people at grassroots level who feel the ANC have enabled that narrative that you've put forward with regards to what right-wingers are saying, forget that which has happened in the past, maybe not in what they say, but in their actions, that we do find ourselves in a place 31 years later where the majority is sitting with no jobs, with no land, unemployed, and the minority, like you mentioned, are enjoying the fruits and the benefits and the wealth of this country?
Look, the ANC has got the best policies that has to address those issues. The problem is that we inherited the country with many problems already. You focused on other areas of the infrastructure development, you focused on issues of social grants, we put BE policy, affirmative action, but it is not enough. I'm saying that we can't say nothing has been done, but it's not enough. Now, I feel that we need to put more pressure. The issue is the implementation of our own policies and resolutions. It's taking too long to implement. That's why we have the ANC Youth League in the ANC as a body of opinion and sometimes an irritating body. Because our role as the Youth League is to say, when we feel these elders are not doing what they're supposed to do, is to say, no, but our people are impatient on the ground. Our people are revolting every day. They are revolting against illegal foreigners. They are revolting against crime in this country. They are revolting against the lack of control of borders. They are revolting against corruption. Mainly, they are revolting against that are not active in their own economic activities of their own country. Now, those are urgent matters that we must address. We're at 40% today because of that. That's a reality. Nothing else has put us at 40%. If we've addressed the issue of the economic structure in this country decisively, if we've addressed the issue of unemployment, if we've industrialized the economy a long time ago, utilizing our raw materials, because we've got critical minerals in this country that can resolve these issues of unemployment. China economy is dependent on our own raw materials here. Every economy, we've got mineral resources that are critical, that many economies of the world depend on them. Why they are benefiting from our own mineral resources, addressing their own economic challenges at the expense of our people of South Africa. Now, we've said as the Youth League, let's put export quotas. Let's say not more than 70% of raw materials must leave this country. They must be here and be processed here so they create necessary economic activities. And the president has announced on it. Now we're pushing for implementation. And we're saying that society, through this dialogue, must assist us to put pressure that everyone, and it's something that must unite us. Whether you are EFF, you are DA, issues of the economy must unite us because it affects all our members and all our constituencies. It's not something that we must be politicized on. Even NGOs, civil organizations must unite us because they exist for the purpose of addressing the problems of our people.
Well, certainly young people will hold you accountable and hope for that pressure to be put, especially on that mother body and everyone really that is governing the country and ensuring that young people do enjoy the benefits of South Africa. Thank you for joining us. That's the ANC Youth League President, Collen Malatji.